Welcome back, everyone, to Season 9 of the Micro Vlogcast. We're talking about our approach to sustainability, some of the principles we adopt here at Foresight, and why we think that these approaches help drive better impact, deeper impact, more money back to our clients, and focusing on telling some case studies and success stories. So interdisciplinary is the principle we're talking about today, and this is the idea of having multiple disciplines inside of one organization and how having that can drive real value to the customer. And so we have a particular customer. They're very large, private equity backed global company in the RV and utility vehicle supplier space, well over 100 locations globally in the billions of revenue. And they hired us to do Scope 1, Scope 2 carbon emission calculations for all their facilities. And as we were doing that, then what happened, Vicki?
Yeah, so the power's in the data. So we were collecting all the data to be able to do the GHG calculations and reporting. And during that process, noticed that they had substantially elevated distribution costs and for a particular Indiana, gas in Indiana. And so that just really was not aligning with what we thought the price would be. So we dug in deeper. This was, again, not within the scope of work, but it was something that just stood out. And then after probably about 2 to 4 weeks of just really digging into the regulation in Indiana, discovered just over $500,000 in savings annually for this customer.
So I think it's worth repeating.
Okay.
Because I think it's a good story. We got hired to do Scope 1, Scope 2 GHG calculations for a very large multi-billion-dollar international organization. And that's what we got hired to do. And then in the process of doing that, our good people here took a look at some of the energy prices and said, that seems a little bit high. Let's have Vicki and her team dig a little deeper and see what's going on there. And then out of that, we got a chance to go back to the client and say, hey, by the way, you didn't pay us to do this, but we identified $500,000 in annual cost savings in basically like a minuscule subset of their 100 plus facilities, just in a couple of the facilities that happen to be in Indiana.
Exactly.
So, I would hypothesize that the customer who just thought they were going to get a GHG calculation as a result of the scope of the work were pleased to receive the news.
Yes, they were super excited. And not only that, but it turned out to be an evergreen contract that was put in place back in like early 2000s. The individuals was no longer with the organization, and they had really been paying this for the last several years. So it's significantly higher than $500,000, and they were super excited.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you happen to be out there looking for a provider to help you calculate your Scope 1, Scope 2, or even Scope 3 carbon emissions, you might want to consider also taking a look at working with someone who can help tell a financial benefit story along the way, because much of that data that they're collecting to do the calculation also has cost data on it. And the cost data can oftentimes represent ways to save money. And this is how we pursue the triple bottom line: people, planet, and profit along the way.
We'd rather have it in their pocket.
That's great. Cool. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.